Alexandre Walewski, born in 1810, is a figure whose life was shaped by both the grandeur of his father, Napoleon Bonaparte, and the shadow of his illegitimate birth. A son of Napoleon and Maria Walewska, one of the emperor's most famous lovers, Alexandre Walewski would grow up to become a prominent statesman, diplomat, and minister in France. His life story is not just a tale of navigating the challenges of being the illegitimate child of an emperor but also of seizing opportunities and rising to prominence in the complex political landscape of 19th-century Europe. Alexander was born into a world already fraught with political upheaval. His mother, Maria Walewska, was a Polish noblewoman who had captured Napoleon's heart in the years after his marriage to Josephine began to deteriorate. Despite being married to another man, Maria's relationship with Napoleon became one of the most well-known love affairs of the Napoleonic era. From their passionate romance came Alexander, and though he was born outside the confines of legal marriage, the emperor took responsibility for him. Napoleon ensured that the child received a title and financial support, but Alexander's status as a bastard would always limit his potential for succession. As a young boy, Alexander's life was one of privilege, though not the full splendor enjoyed by Napoleon's legitimate children. After Napoleon's abdication and exile to Elba, Maria Walewska and her son lived in relative obscurity, and Alexander was initially raised in the midst of political turmoil. With Napoleon's empire collapsing, Europe was shifting, and the Bonaparte family's future seemed uncertain. Yet, despite the fall of his father's empire, Alexandre Walewski would emerge as a figure who navigated the rapidly changing political landscape of post-Napoleonic Europe with skill and determination. In his early years, Alexander was educated in the finest institutions, benefiting from the connections his mother maintained with France's aristocracy and the remnants of the Napoleonic court. As a child of the emperor, he was granted a noble title and enjoyed financial security, but his identity as Napoleon's illegitimate son shaped his experiences. Unlike the more public figures in the Bonaparte family, Alexander remained largely in the background, often overshadowed by the figure of his father. Napoleon's legitimate son, Napoleon II, who was born to Marie-Louise of Austria, took center stage in the political discourse of the time, while Alexander's role was largely that of a shadowed heir. However, Alexander's opportunities for advancement came not from birthright but from his ability to navigate the complexities of European diplomacy. After Napoleon's death in 1821, and the restoration of the Bourbon monarchy, the political environment in France and Europe became volatile. Alexander, despite being excluded from a direct role in the Bonaparte dynasty, saw an opportunity to rise above his humble beginnings. His rise to power was shaped by a combination of personal ambition, the lingering influence of his father's name, and the political flux that marked the period following the Napoleonic Wars. In the 1830s, Alexandre Walewski entered into French politics, where his diplomatic skills and connections to the influential figures of the time made him a sought-after figure. His career began in earnest when he took up positions in the French government under the July monarchy, which was established after the 1830 revolution. Alexander worked his way through the political ranks, securing a position as an envoy to several European courts. His diplomatic career took him to the heart of the continent, where his connections and the respect he earned in Europe opened doors for him to negotiate and broker key treaties. By the late 1840s, Alexander had achieved the rank of a respected diplomat and was appointed as the French ambassador to the United Kingdom. His political maneuvering was a testament to his adaptability and his ability to function effectively in a world that had little room for the illegitimate children of former emperors. Alexander's career flourished during a time of great instability, and his status as Napoleon's son, though not the basis of his success, provided him with leverage and recognition that he might not have otherwise attained. One of Alexander's most notable achievements came during the 1850s when he became a prominent figure in the French diplomatic efforts to unite Europe. As an ally of Napoleon III, who had come to power after the 1848 revolution, Alexander worked diligently to maintain French influence on the European stage. He was instrumental in forging alliances and navigating the complex web of diplomacy that sought to maintain a balance of power in Europe. In this period, Alexander's political career reached its zenith, with him holding key positions such as Minister of Foreign Affairs and serving as a vital voice in the French government. Despite the prominence he gained in political circles, Alexander never fully escaped the shadow of his father. His rise to power was often seen as an extension of the Napoleonic legacy, and while he managed to create his own legacy as a skilled diplomat and statesman, the public and political narratives of the time often defined him by his paternal connections. Still, Alexander's legacy as a statesman and his contributions to European diplomacy during the 19th century are significant, and he remains an example of a man who, despite the limitations imposed on him by his birth, managed to carve out a remarkable and respected place in history. Alexandre Walewski passed away in 1868, but his influence endured long after his death. His life story is a reminder of the complex realities faced by those born outside the traditional structures of power, yet who managed to rise above their circumstances through talent, ambition, and connections. In many ways, Alexander's career reflected the changing dynamics of 19th century Europe, a time when personal legacy and political achievement were inextricably linked. His story is one of perseverance and adaptability, as well as the timeless desire to define oneself beyond the constraints of one's birth. Though Alexandre Walewski's life was defined by the shadow of his father, Napoleon Bonaparte, he succeeded in forging his own path, navigating the political complexities of the era and making a significant impact on European diplomacy. His legacy is a testament to the power of ambition and skill, and to the ability of individuals to transcend their circumstances and shape the world around them. In the annals of history, Alexandre Walewski stands as more than just the illegitimate son of Napoleon. He is a statesman in his own right, a figure whose contributions to 19th century European diplomacy cannot be overlooked.